Welcome, everybody to the live. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and looks like we've got Ray online, of course. Bo, thanks for the reminder. I needed it. Appreciate the Father's Day wishes, and happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. Um, Hux, sounded like it was windy up there. I got your message that little windy, little choppy. Sometimes just throwing out that anchor is the best way to go. So um let's see here who we all got on. We got people joining, which is good. I forgot to schedule this one. It wasn't until 8 o'clock I finally put it out there. So hopefully people got the notification of it. Yeah, sometimes it's great to get out there and practice those maneuvers when the challenging conditions are a little bit more challenging, and gives you a lot of confidence when you do get in a tight spot that you can handle the wind, you can handle the current. You know the pivot maneuver is gonna get you where you need to be, and you're smooth and under control on the throttle. That's interesting. Our fuel went down just on the. I noticed it today. We were, I think it was down to 450 just at the station, just regular ethanol unleaded. But hopefully that starts coming down. Bo, got your intro. So I think now that I've done it a couple times, I think I've got it in my head that we do the countdown and then do that. What I need to do is merge those two together so I can just play it once and not have to hit the button twice. So Huck's up in Minnesota on the river up there was fighting some of the wind and the chop, but sounds like it was still a good day. Weather's warming up there, but the water's still nice and refreshing. So, yeah, happy Father's Day, everybody. Derek, same to you. Brock, happy Father's Day. Let's see here. Oh, this is a new one. Nautixy 1980. Welcome to the live. Jumping right in with a question. I'm looking at buying a boat, but paranoid over some of the horror stories of used boats. Hey, you should be. Here's the thing. I think paranoia. That there's a Dan Kennedy as a sales and marketing guy that I followed for years and years and years, and he used to say, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. So being paranoid's okay. What you don't want it to do is you don't want it to freeze you. What you want it to do is push you in the direction of educating yourself so that you know what to look for. Being here is a great start to that. You've got 350 plus videos on the channel that you can go through, find the style of boats you're looking for. You've got the Boat Buyer's Toolkit, which is free. You can grab that at boatbuyerstoolkit.com, or just go to Boater's Secret Weapon and you can, down at the very bottom, you can sign up, and it is 25 pages of just checklists, questions to ask from start to finish on what's the right boat to get, all the way through how do you demo, including the trailer, the motor, all of that. And then if you want to go even deeper into it and really build your knowledge in a more, I don't know, kind of easier and more systematic way, I put the information together in the First Time Boat Buyer Academy, including how to negotiate the paperwork pieces. And you just go through, pick the style of boat, new or used, the style of boat, and we actually look at boats together. And yeah, I just saw this come in, missed out on a contender because of hesitation. Here's my recommendation. It's get all your ducks in a row. Financing, what you want, what's important to you, your checklist, your tools that you need, your big screwdriver so you can check the gear lube. You can use this to tap the hull. Act quickly to go look at the boat, inspect it slowly, demo it slowly, and then if all that checks out, act quickly on the payment and taking possession of it. But be quick to get to it, to check it out, slowly inspect it, thoroughly inspect it, demo it. Nutcase, yes. I qualify for that for sure. But that that quick, slow, quick process is kind of important right now. Now, I think the market's starting to slow down a little bit. The used boat market, they're not turning as quickly in some areas, but it's the heart of the season. This is the time of the year where boats go quick traditionally. The overall the market slowed down from COVID, but we're still at a pretty good pace just for the boating industry in general, if that makes sense. So but use the resources on this page, use the resources on anywhere that you can find them. There's a lot of great channels out there, there's a lot of great information, and but use that toolkit. You'll be glad you did. It just kind of gives you a make sure you check everything off the box and you don't miss something silly just because you were in a hurry or because the guy said I've got to get out of here at 5 o'clock. No, if I'm going to give you 50 grand or 20 grand or 10 grand, I'm going to make sure that the boat is what I'm looking for. So thanks for joining us. A nutcase. There we go. Nutcase 1980. My reading skills and comprehension skills are off. Happy Father's Day, Aaron. I don't recognize that name. So welcome to the first live. I swear, worst luck with boat buying. Seal the deal on that Bayliner. There was a Cuddy that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. The 642 Bayliner says it's already sold. Yeah, acting quick. Once you've inspected, acting quick is key. Yeah, 646. What did you say? 695. 690 on gas on the water. Ray. I'm almost certain that you buy your gas on the water, living on the lake there in Indiana. So definitely, my wife and daughters took me to Qdoba for Father's Day today. One of my favorites, the steak burrito with some guacamole. Always a crowd favorite. Aaron from Canada, welcome from Canada. I was chatting with the guy that was from, where the heck did he say he was from? Finland, maybe. In the comments earlier today. Sea Hunter 20. I don't recognize what that is. Sea Hunter. Why do I think that's a sailboat? No, Sea Hunter. Okay. Catamaran. That's right. So we've got the Catamaran. I don't know anything about that boat. I've never inspected one. So I can't give you much detail about that. The catamarans, they can be great from what I've heard. I've not run the big new, like the World Cats or the new cats that are coming out, but they're supposed to be super comfortable in rough chop and give you that cushion of air. The stability with the rocking in the waves, maybe something where the gyro. Why did it just escape me? I did a video on the guys with the Seakeeper, with the Seakeeper gyros, maybe something that would make sense. And I think they've improved that a little bit as well. That because that was one of the big challenges. But people that love them say, hey, they're going to take over the center console world in certain size categories. And I haven't had the opportunity to run them enough to have much of an opinion on them. Truck Diver, welcome again. Listening while walking the dogs. That's great. I took my dogs to the park this morning. It was beautiful. It was only 80 degrees here in the Carolinas, which is unusual for mid-June. It was a beautiful day. Well, Bo, here's the thing: is there'll always be another boat that comes along. I've had it happen countless times with people that I've been talking to, and they say, "Oh, that was perfect. It got sold out from under me, or it didn't check out. It was the perfect boat, though." And then a week later, I get a message: "We found something even better." So keep looking, keep diligent, inspecting when you find it, and you'll be glad you did. Nutcase, got it. Oh my, I'm getting way behind on the comments here. If you're new to the live, just ask your question in the chat. I go through them. If you're a subscribing member, I'll move you up to the front. I get notified that a subscribing member has asked a question, and I'll move you up. Otherwise, I just go through them as the order they come in. Looking to paint 3 15-foot aluminum boats, recommend aluminum paint and primer that's best. Aaron, I can't, but here's what I can tell you is make sure that the paint does not have copper in it, or other metals that can cause problems with the aluminum. The dissimilar metals, it causes it can cause pinholes. It can cause it to corrosion that will eat through. They found that out when they just started putting pontoons in salt water. They were painting the holes, and then 6 months later, they were getting pinholes and they were getting water in the tubes. Is because that the chemical reaction between the two dissimilar metals caused the corrosion to eat through, and it just was showing up in tiny little pinholes. So make sure that your paint is suitable for aluminum. And I think Electrolux has some. I don't know if you're talking about bottom paint. That's where this story comes from, is bottom painting. If you're talking just decorative painting, I don't have a clue, but I know Electrolux, or no, Electrolux, Interlux has some paints that are designed specifically for aluminum. So that might be something you want to check out. Depression will affect buyers million up. Larry, here's the thing. Here's what happens is every time there's a recession, there's some economic uncertainty, um, there's a certain segments of the market that slow down. The super high end usually does okay, unless it's a major crash. But it's that midsection. It's that wealthy, but not ultra wealthy group that you see a slowdown in there. So that $1 million to $5 million, 500, man, probably now $1 million to, $10 million, maybe 5 million in that category. You see a little bit of a slowdown there, but really they're making a small number of those boats anyway. I think if you were to look, I did, what did I do? I was doing research for a video the other day, and boats over $1 million, it was in the hundreds that were made. So it doesn't take much of a dip to see a 20% drop is only 20 boats, significant dollar amount in the scheme of things. But I think it will affect that top sliver of the high end, or the bottom of the top sliver of the high end, but it usually doesn't impact the super high. They're going to sell the, whatever number per year. Where it does affect is that bottom level of entry level buyers that they had an extra $500 a month in their budget and now they don't. That's where, or the retirement account, the nest egg is at a suitable level where they say, hey, we're doing well. We can afford to invest in our recreation, and we'll go ahead and buy the boat. Stock market goes down, you see recession, you start to see layoffs, you lose confidence, and that segment tends to drop out as well during those types of times. And by the looks of things, it could be on the way. I don't know that it's guaranteed, but it's looking like things are starting to slow. Inflation continues to roll, and it's just a matter of what things all happen that over my level of knowledge, but what things are all implemented. How does the economy shake out? And this is a brand new situation in my mind. All of this happened from overspending from COVID. Supply chain issues led to some of the price increases. I think this is something we haven't seen before, so I don't know that anybody really knows what the end result's going to be. Derek, successful first splash last weekend. Ton of work on my 277 Cobalt. Derek, we talked about this. That's one of my favorite boats. I love those early to mid 2000 Cobalts. Lower unit almost completely rebuilt. Catch up on inspection. before buying. Okay. Yeah, that's inspect slow, buy quick. Once you get it inspected, get their money because they will get it to another buyer that's got the cash quicker. It's never yours until they have the check. That's something I used to tell when I was selling. I would say, unless I have money in the cash register, even a deposit, this boat may not be here when you're driving the hour to come look at it. So if you want to make sure it's here, I need some sort of financial commitment, and then I can hold it for a day or two for you. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't care for that either. Boat dealer only does water tests in the pond. Um, yeah, at least you can get it under load. You're looking. Let's see. You were looking used. You said a contender, so you're looking used center console. Yeah, I mean, you can run everything. You can do a pretty good job, but I like to how does the steering handle when I'm going 30? How does it feel? How does it taking waves? Am I does it feel solid under my feet? If you're looking at boats in the contender category, I don't know what the age is. You can assume it's a pretty solid boat, but yeah, I would tell the dealer, listen, this is something that I really would like to get it on the water. I know some dealers that their dealership is an hour and a half from acceptable water, to run a boat like that. And it can be it can be a challenge for them, but most good dealers are going to try to work something out with you. And I would ask him if that would be the case. And might be a great dealer. If it's close to you, that's another consideration. But there's a lot of dealers out there. And there's a lot of those style of boats available. And maybe something where you say, well, then I'm sorry, I can't make that decision to invest, 20, 50, 100 grand with you if we can't actually run it and go through. I mean, I just don't have the confidence to do it. So that's a tough one. It's like in the upper Midwest buying in the wintertime. You can't. Everything's frozen over, everything's iced up. And I think the right choice is don't buy a boat in the wintertime than up there. It's too risky when you're buying used. Waiting for delivery. Richard, welcome. Richard Cornwall. Um, waiting on delivery of a new boat, signed an affidavit, additional fees before delivery. Anything above 10% I can back out. Don't want to back out. What are your thoughts? Richard, you're sort of over a barrel, unfortunately, and you're not the only one. There's every manufacturer that I am aware of has in the last 12 months sent a notification to their dealers at some point saying prices are going up 8 to 10%. I think 8% was the most common. And there were dealers that were signing contracts and saying, we will give you a price, but we can't guarantee the price because the manufacturer won't guarantee the price to us. And we're going to give you that production spot, but you can walk out, you can walk away if you're not happy with the price that comes in. So it's a refundable deposit. What I would make sure that you have is a refundable deposit. 10% seems steep to me, especially since we've been through most of it. The inflation is still a worry. Supply chain issues, those worries are lightening. Um, but as a consumer, I would want to get that 10% number down to a level that I felt comfortable with. 5%. You can still take it at 7%, but you have the choice then. That might be something worth negotiating. And, you know, that 10% number, they just kind of pulled it out of their butt because nobody knows. They just want to be covered in case their cost goes up from the manufacturer. So that's what I would do. I would say, hey, can we drop this down? Anything above 5%, I can back out because I just don't feel comfortable at that level. And that deposit is refundable. That way you're still in line and then you get the choice. You may have a hard decision. Come December when the boat's ready to be delivered and it's at, 7, 8, 9%, or 15%, who knows? But at least then the ball's in your court and you get to make the decision. So, and again, if it's a, I'm always saying the dealer is important. The dealer is important. The dealer is important. The better the dealer, the better relationship you have with them. The easier it is to work through things like that. Hey, you take some of the hit, I'll take some of the hit, and let's see if we can renegotiate a little bit. That would be Richard. That would be my approach. So hopefully that helps you. Oh, Aaron, thanks. Glad to have a new subscriber. Yeah, back to the Facebook marketplace. Check Craigslist, Facebook, Boat Trader, boats.com, all of the boats for sale, use pontoon boats for sale.com, all of those places. Hey, when you're looking for pre-owned, I don't care where it's listed. I'm going to inspect the boat and I'm not going to fall for any shenanigans. So just keep on searching and you'll find it. Found a nice 24 Sea Ray 70s missing outdrive. Guy dropped it off at the shop where it's located. Have replaced to have a repaired and disappeared pre-COVID. So the boat's been sitting for 2 years. Let's see. Scott, welcome to the channel, by the way. Your name is a new one for me, I think. I'm trying to figure out how to get a title in the state of Michigan. Here's a good thing to do when you're in those situations. Some states, pretty easy. Some states, it's a nightmare. The dealer, what the dealer needs to do, and I'm talking what I know in South Carolina, is the dealer needs to file a lien against the boat for back due storage, go through the paperwork, and then they can take ownership of the boat and get it titled in a repossession would be the terms of it. And then they would get the title. They can sell it to you. That's how it works in North and South Carolina. And it's it's kind of like a mechanic's lien that you're putting on it. You're doing it for storage. You're doing it for work rendered, parts, whatever. But then it's their boat and they can sell it to you. If you're going to buy it and they're not going to go through that process, what you need to make sure is, hey, Michigan, and you can go to the DNR, you can go to wildlife, whatever it is in Michigan, try to go to a local office and talk to the most senior person that you can get in front of and have a face-to-face conversation and say, okay, Susie, here's the situation. What do I need? What could be a hang up? It's a boat, it's a motor, it's a trailer. I don't know if you title all three of those, register all three of those, whatever it is there a lien on that particular boat? Because if a bank has a lien on that particular boat, it's a 70 Sea Ray, probably not, but could be. So, all right, Susie from the DNR, what do you need? If the DNR handles trailers, she can talk to you through that. You may have to go to the DMV if you register trailers with the DMV. Outboards, probably through the DNR. If it's outboard, a 70 Sea Ray is probably a stern drive, I would guess. And then say, okay, Susie, give me your full name and your phone number, because when I get all this together, I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask for you, because if you get that information from Susie, this is why I like to do it face to face. If you get that information from Susie and you come back and you don't talk to Susie, the other person may have a different understanding of what's required. And sometimes it's easier to say, no, you don't have everything you need, and send you on a wild goose chase. So that's what I like to do when I'm in a difficult situation. I like to talk to somebody face to face, maybe a little bit of a drive, depending where you're at and where those offices are. But it can save you a lot of runaround and a lot of hassle if you do it that way. So hopefully, Scott, that is helpful for you. Bayliner Jazz. Stay away. Don't do it. You'll regret it. Regret it. I say the same thing for the Whaler Rage. I say the same thing for the Sea Ray Sea Raider. I would say the same thing for any of those 80s and 90s jet boats that Sea-Doo came out with theirs, and everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna do a jet boat." But the jet boat technology, the jet drive, the engines they were using, they're problematic, and you're gonna be very, very. I know you're in tech school, Marine Mechanics Institute. They're a challenge to work on, even for somebody that knows what's going on. All right, let's see here. Um, Dan Vidovich. I think hopefully I'm getting that right. Dan from Tennessee. Watched so many of your videos, new pontoon boats, assuming similar installed features across the board. Mid-tier, 3 manufacturers you would suggest. Okay, so in the mid-tier, um, they are so close. They are nearly, if you were to take the name badges off and you didn't know what the fence rail configurations, like I can look and I can say, "Oh, that's a Sweetwater, that's a Crest, that's a Harris." I'm pretty good at that now. I've looked at so many of them that I can just look at the fence rail and I can pretty much tell you what it is. But if you didn't know that and you took the badge off and you were to set 10 mid-tier pontoons in line, um, you're going to be hard pressed to tell them apart. Furniture likely came from the same manufacturer. The colors may be slightly different. Let me turn on my lights here. I feel like my sun's going down. Brighten things up here a little bit. I felt like I was going in and out of color. You would be really hard pressed to tell what was what, that it was a different manufacturer. So here's what I'm gonna give you. So you've watched the videos, best and worst pontoons. I'm assuming if you've watched my videos that you've been there. So here's my here's my tiebreaker for you is the dealer. That is going to be so much more important than the brand. Oh, that's nice. We're at the mid tiers. So of these, let me go big on that, little on me. So of these mid tier brands, um, you're in Tennessee. Dan, where are you in Tennessee? My in-laws have a place in Knoxville on Lake Loudon, so I know a couple of the dealers there. I shopped the boat show there. Um, I like, and it may be because I sold these, but I like the Harris Cruise. The Cruiser, or they took off the R. I think it's just Cruise now. Is their value line within the Harris pontoon category. So they do a great job with the build quality from the decking down. It's nice, solid, full length M brackets, good welds. Up top, they do it a little bit different. That's where they're saving the money, by just leaving off some features like everybody does. There's a reason why those boats are 10 grand less than the Bennington Q or the Barletta or the Harris Grand Marin or whatever. But I really like um the dealer, and I like the Harris in the Cruise because you're getting that premium level, you're getting the premium name for resale. The Bennington SX can be another good one where you get that brand name that's going to be helpful in resale, but you're buying their not entry level. You're buying their lowest level model, which I would put in that mid tier category. I think I talk about it, um, but really, it's about the dealer that you're going to work with. Let me see if you said Knoxville. Okay. 40 minutes west of Knoxville. So, I've shopped and I've talked to people at what is it? Premier. Um, my father-in-law bought from Travis Marine. He bought a Cobalt from Travis Marine. I believe they have Premier pontoons. I don't know that they have an entry level model, but that dealership is a great dealership. Um, so I've personally worked with them. I've been at the boat when one of their techs came to do some warranty stuff and to do some work. Very knowledgeable, very responsive, a great smaller dealership. American Boating Center is another good one. I think they've got Harris there. I don't recall who the Bennington dealer is, but South Bay. I think, is that what you said? No, Sweetwater. You said the Sweetwater. You know, they definitely go in that category. It's just like Harris and Bennington. The Sweetwater in the Godfrey line is their lowest level, but still in that mid tier. They're so close. I mean, look at this. Cypress K is another one. It's basically the Harris Cruise with a few minor changes. Brunswick, 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 Brunswick. White River, White River. Forest River has 3 brands. Smokercraft has 3 brands, because that mid tier, they're so homogenized, they're so similar, that the difference maker is the dealer. And if you talk to people that have had a bad experience, the brands, you'll see it across the board. You'll see it from Bennington, Harris, Barletta to, the Sun Tracker and Tahoe, Tahoe fiberglass boats, not Tahoe Avalon. And so you'll see brands all across, but what you'll find is that the dealers, you see it happen at dealer, same dealer, same dealer, same dealer in the area. And so it's so important. And I think that should be your differentiator. So what's important with the dealer? I did a video on this. What did I call it? I can't believe this video didn't get much attention, but it was called How to Choose the Best Boat Dealer. Only less than 1,000 views, which this video is so important. Check that video out. I think that will be a very, very helpful one. Let's see here. There you go. How to Choose the Best Boat Dealer. It was, I don't know when it was released, just not within the month, but that's a video that I would definitely check out. So hopefully that helps you out there. Dan, welcome to the channel. Glad you found us. Nautic Star. Um, Nautic Star is, I would put it in the value level, maybe low mid tier or higher in the value. It's there. I was really surprised. The dealership that I used to sell for now carries Nautic Star. So I had a chance to go through a bunch of boats there. And that we had always been, when I was there, we had always sold premium brands. We picked up Yamaha jet boats, and that was probably our most value brand that we had. Well, they sold to Marine Max. Marine Max picked up Nautic Star on a pretty national level, put them in a lot of their stores. And it was, I was surprised that they weren't as well built as I would have had expect them to be built. I hadn't really inspected their bay boats, but their value. Now, with that said, Gilberto, with that said, it's a perfectly fine boat. Just know it's not as heavy. They don't use as much fiberglass. You can pound on the hull and you'll hear it. Their wiring was pretty good. You could see some of the fit and finish. You could see some areas where it wasn't perfectly finished off. Things didn't match up perfectly. You looked at some of the compartments and there was painted or raw fiberglass down there, which is okay if you're okay with that. So here's what I talk about in the First Time Boat Buyer Academy is, what kind of vehicle do you drive? If you drive Mercedes or BMW, or you get the Yukon Denali and not just the regular Yukon, if you're that person, you're going to be miserable in the Nautic Star, that low to lower mid tier level. Now, if you drive a Ford F-150, just the base model, or the 4x4 or 4x2 model, the Sport, then you're probably going to be okay. But if you buy the Raptor or the Lariat package and you get the total, or the King Ranch, you're going to be disappointed by those little things that's one way that I look at it is it's a perfectly safe boat. It's probably gonna have some little things that start showing up in 3 to 5 years that just, little piddly things, nothing serious. It's not gonna sink on you. It's gonna ride a little bit rougher because it's not as heavy, but you can go out there and you can have a ball with you and your family, and you can be totally safe. It's a question of, are those little rattles, is that heavier, slapping in the chop because you don't have that solid boat under your, those are the types of things that can come up, and why some people are disappointed when they buy in that value to low mid-tier category. So I always try to put that caveat in there when I say it's a low mid-tier or value brand, because I don't want people to say, "Oh, it's not safe." That's not the truth. It's just not built to the same level as a Grady or a Whaler or a contender, something like that. So hopefully, Huberto, that is answers your question there. For the box anchor group, might be joining you. My dad foot stuck in the muck, was almost to the point, didn't break it free. Okay, so that can happen. I'll give you a little tip on your anchor getting stuck. If you ever have your anchor get stuck, just go ahead and pull it up so it's straight down. Okay. Get right over it, tie it back off on the cleat, and just go drive forward over it. And what that will do is you've got your anchor chain and your anchor off the ground. And so those flukes are easier to pull out if you're stuck in a tree or a big heavy branch, or somehow a rock, or it just dug into the mud. You got it set really, really good. Pull it all the way up and then drive forward over it. And that can do it. If that doesn't do the trick, you can just do a big circle around it, and sometimes that will get it unstuck as well. But yeah, the box anchors don't have that issue, and I still need to do my test with the Danforth versus the box anchor, and put that out there. So, all right. Chase Bank 420 just bought my first boat 2 weekends ago, thinking it may be polished wax. Recommendation: Rinker 86 Captiva. There are some really good details channels. Chase Banks. Who is the guy? Boat detail videos. This guy right here. This guy's pretty good. He does videos for detailers. He seems to be a legit guy. He seems to know what he's talking about, and so he's doing this video to detailers. But if you go to his channel, Drake's Detailing, he's got 30,000 subscribers. He's got a ton of videos out there. You'll probably pick up some things there. Couple things to mention to you is if it's oxidizing. So if you've got kind of that layer of white film on it, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to at a minimum compound it. And what you're doing is compound is basically like little fine sandpaper that you're getting and kind of scratching that off a little bit. If it's really, really bad, is you may need to even wet sand it. Getting more aggressive, sanding off that layer of oxidation so you can get down to the gel coat. Once you get that done and you're like, okay, it's looking better without even polishing it. Now you apply your polish, and then you apply your wax sealer. But start with cleaning it with like a Dawn dish soap, a degreaser. Don't use Dawn as your regular cleaning soap because it's going to pull the wax off. But when you're getting ready to detail it, you'll start with that degreasing soap, wash all the gel coat, get it clean, compound or wet sand. From there, you're going to use a polish, and then you're going to use a sealer or a 2-in-1. Meguiar's products for that, I think, are really good. You can get them at West Marine, Amazon, and this guy recommends some as well. that are like detailer brands. I don't know if you have to have a professional account to get them, but um, so hopefully that helps. And it's something you can easily do yourself if you've got a orbital buffer. He's got a video on that as well. Which are the good ones, which are not. Be be aware of holding it in one spot and kind of burning it. Be aware of using the right pads. Be aware of making sure it's clean. You can leave swirl marks if you don't pay attention to all those little details. But that should be enough to kind of get you started and get you on the right path to having a great outcome. All right, so Nutcase 1980, thinking of waiting until October, November to buy. Price supply is terrible. Yeah, it's. I would agree. If you watch my video on let's see, boat market update 2022. It's the red one. There we go. The spring 2022. I did a month ago. Did 426.22. That's kind of my assumption is that we're seeing things starting to slow. If you look on Google Trends of searches, you're seeing it slow. Boats are still going fast, so I don't want to make it sound like it's come to a halt. People are still buying lots of boats. I get messages all the time. Just took delivery. Just put a deposit. Um, but I think as gas prices continue to stay high, inflation continues to go up. There's that uncertainty. The war in Ukraine continues on. There's more and more. The sky is falling in the media. They love to push that fear button to get views and stuff like that. So I think if that all continues, we could see that market get even softer. And like anytime, even in the best of markets, you get to the end of the season, you get to after Labor Day, and people have to make that decision. Did I use the boat enough this summer to pay for storage over the winter, to do the maintenance, to do whatever? And so you see a not a bunch, but you see boats come on the market as the fall rolls around. So I think, by the way, from South Mississippi, awesome. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching the videos. And yeah, in the South, we don't see it quite as much. I'm in the Carolinas, but Florida, you still, if you were to look at the trends in Florida, you still see them. But like Minnesota, where Hux is, or Canada, where who is that, Aaron? You see big up and downs in the demand and the action in the marketplace. So, all right. So, Dan, hopefully I got you some good information there. Chase Banks. I'm a Omaha, Nebraska guy. I grew up in Omaha. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be at the Lake of the Ozarks over on the 5th of July. We'll get there and be there for a week to be with my family at our family's lake place there in the Lake of the Ozarks near Camdenton. Is if you're familiar with the Ozarks at all. Love that place. We've been boating at the Ozarks since '79. When I was 5 years old, we went there for the first time with some family friends, and we have been to the Ozarks every year, but like a handful, maybe two or three since I was 5. So it is a place I love. All right. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Bo, thanks for joining us. Keep studying. Drill the hole in the bottom of my Danforth for that reason. Oh yeah, that's a great one. Okay, so you rig the shackle to the bottom and you use some sort of easy break point. All right, so you've got your Danforth here and you've got your flukes here. Usually you're going to tie it up here with your shackle, 5 foot of chain, shackle, anchor rode, right? What Brock's saying is, if you don't have a hole down here, some of them have one for this exact reason. If you don't have a hole, you drill a hole here, you run your chain down and you zip tie it. You use a cotton thread, something like that. So it works the same way. It's going to dig in. If it's easy to get out, you pull it up and you're good to go. If things get stuck, You give it a big hard yank, it's going to break the easy to break piece right here, and now it's going to pull down from the bottom by those, and so it's changing the angle of pulling against the flukes to pulling here, and it's going to pull it right out. So that is a 100-pound mono, so 100-pound fishing line, something that's gonna easily break. Some people say, a zip ties is what it used to be, and they say, oh, now you're putting plastic in the water, which is a reasonable concern. Although it's a small amount, there's more than plenty in the ocean as it is in lakes. So something that's going to be reasonable to leave behind if you have to do that. All right. White boats are kind of hard to tell. Old graphics. Yeah, if you can sometimes Chase Banks 420, you can sometimes rub your hand on it and feel it. And if it's a boat that's been left outside, not in a covered spot or in a garage, even in the Midwest, even in Kansas City, if you're leaving that boat out over the summer, it can get that oxidation started, depending on if they waxed it every year or not. And I think you'll be shocked with the effort that you put in, how much that shine comes back. And you'd be like, oh my God, I didn't realize how dull and dingy it was. It makes a huge difference. You're very welcome. Brian, welcome. Happy Father's Day and Grandfather's Day. Yeah, that's a Brock. I need to make a video on that one. I need to add that into the in the boating amplifier toolbox. I talk about it, but I don't think I show how to rig that up. Um, what size boat would you recommend? The main channel. All right, so it depends on where you're at on the lake. So we are we're on like mile marker 31. We're actually on the Niangua, right by the Niangua Bridge, if you know where that is. The Niangua Bridge is actually mile marker 3, but mile marker 31 on the Osage arm is just 3 miles away. If you are looking at, let's see, you've got what'd you say, a 19-foot rinker. So Monday to Friday, you're fine. You're going to be okay. 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday and Sunday, you're fine. Noon, you're going to start getting bounced around. So we ran, when I first started going down there in the early 80s, our family's first boat was a 16-foot Larson tri-hull. We'd go anywhere on that lake, not a problem. We moved up to an 18-footer, and we stayed, we did a lot of water skiing, and we would go away from the main arm, like down towards Hurricane Deck. We moved up to a 22. That 22 could go pretty well in the 90s, up and down the lake. That got to be too small, and my brother got a 26-foot crown line. And he got to the point where that was too small. This was probably in the early 2000s. And now he runs a 36-foot Envision, and goes anywhere on the lake. My parents have a 22-foot Tritune, which is perfect for them, and it can handle pretty much anything. So it depends on where you're going to go. Learn how to use your trim to take the waves better. Keep your speed just on plane and run close to the bank in most situations. Take the bends wide on the opposite end of where all the traffic is. So there's a lot of bends down there, right? So if the bend is like, let me go full screen so I can try to explain this. If the bend is like this, most boats are going to cut to the inside. This is where it's all going to get stirred up and chopped up. For me, when I'm running a smaller boat, or when I'm running that pontoon down there and we're going to like Redheads or something like that, further down the lake towards the busier part, we very seldom get all the way down to Osage on the water. But if I'm running the Tritune, I'm going to take the curve way on the far side where all the traffic is cutting it close. All the traffic is cutting that bend close, and I'm taking it as wide as I can, clearly staying off the docks, but I'm running close to the opposite shore. Then what I'll do is it's going to wind back around the other way. Now I'm going to kind of cut through the middle and try to 90 degree into a lot of that chop, cut through, get on the other far side, and I'm going to wind around like that. So if you learn how to drive and you learn how to use that trim and trim it up way more than you normally would, keep some weight in the bow. I don't know if you have kids or not, but if they're old enough to ride up in the bow safely by themselves, you know, my 8-year-old loves to be up in the bow and ride the waves. But getting a little bit of weight up there allows you to trim it up even more, and you're just going to get as soft as you can on those waves. You're going to be careful when the big 40-foot cruiser goes by and puts out a 4-foot wake. What you're going to do is you're going to keep that bow way high, and you're going to keep on the power. What you don't want to do is like, oh shit, and you cut the power, and now your nose sinks down, and that next wave is a coming, and boom, it goes right over the bow real easy. So it's somewhat of a feel. I think I explained it fairly well, but but those are a couple of things that you can do to run that size boat and be okay. If you were going to buy a new boat, I think 24 to 26 is probably going to get you as in a reasonable price range, to be able to run 90% of the time, take out Saturday and Sunday on the 4th of July, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. But if you're running the sides, if you're taking the bends on the wide side, if you're getting good at using the trim, you can have a really enjoyable time, even if you're further down towards the Osage end. But if you're like us, down on the, slower side of things, you can be perfectly fine in your rinker and not have to worry about it. All right. Let's see here. Zip ties. Yep. Reef rigging. Reef rigging. So yeah, that's a great little tip, that Brock just shared. So if you're somewhere that you run a Danforth and you get it stuck, or even if you don't get it stuck, at some point you will. It's just a matter of time that you will get your anchor stuck, and you'll have to pull it with the method I shared. And that will get you out of a lot of jams, but Brock's method will get you out of almost everything, because you're pulling on the best leverage point that you can, and you've got it rigged up to just for that situation, save you. They do that a lot on the big, oh, what the hell are they called? The big spade anchors. There's a term I'm forgetting, that are, $1,500 anchors. So, all right. Yeah. Don't Chase Banks. Don't let the Lake of the Ozarks lore scare you away. Understand that, yeah, you need to be you've got to be vigilant. That's the word I was looking for, in paying attention, because boats are coming from all direction. There's a lot of boaters that really aren't, very skilled. There's a lot of rentals down there, people that don't run very often. There's big cruisers. There's cigarette boats going 100 miles an hour down the channel on just a Saturday afternoon. And sometimes there's 15 of them cruising down and bar hopping or doing a poker run. Be aware, but don't let it turn you off from going. Just, take it slow. Don't run wide open throttle. Keep a lot of trim in the boat. Keep some weight up front, and pay attention. You can have a great time. So, all right, we are coming up on an hour here. Let me do a quick little commercial. Oh, here's something that I wanted to do, but we were firing right away. So, I wanted to thank everybody that we got approved on Google for Google My Business. So now if you type in Boater Secret Weapon, they actually acknowledge us as a blue checkmark business, with our products. You can get the toolkit, the boot camp, the best boat captain programs. And then we also were approved to do some reviews, which is pretty cool. I had several folks that DJ left a review. Brian, who is on tonight, left a review. Tony, Hux, who's on tonight, left a review. Gary, who just bought the best boat captain. Jane, who just bought the best boat captain. Noel, test trial. I'm not sure who that was, but we had some good reviews. I really appreciate you all going out and doing that. If you have got value from the channel, invested in a program, got value from these lives, I would love it if you would just Google Boater Secret Weapon, scroll down, and it will say yours will say leave a review, and then you just click on there and leave a review. And I would really, really appreciate it. Or you can do the same thing on Facebook. We've got one review on Facebook, and I'm starting to do a little bit more stuff there. But you can just click on review and then leave a review at Boater Secret Weapon on Facebook as well. But I really appreciate it. I got some really cool emails from folks. Let's see here. Gary left me a nice one. Jane left me a really nice one. Not only did she leave a review, but then she sent me this email that that was great. I really appreciate those. It helps others say, "Hey, this is not a fly by night guy. This is not a scammer. This guy's legit. He's got good information." And it makes a big difference for us. So I appreciate that. If you would like to leave a review, I would appreciate it. If you're a new boater, grab the Boater Boot Camp. It's totally free, boaterbootcamp.com. If you're a boat shopper, check out the Boat Buyers Toolkit, boatbuyerstoolkit.com. That's totally free as well. And those programs I could easily charge money for and feel great about it. But we give them away for free as sort of a lead generation and to get the information out, and just to build the community that we built. So thank you all for being a part of it. Thanks for being here on the live. And if there's other questions coming in, I will answer those for the next 10 minutes or so. Yeah, I've never been on St. Croix up there in Minnesota, but the Ozarks it is a fun place, man. Like I said, we started going down there when I was 5 years old. And I mean, we probably had that boat for 8 years, a 16-foot tri-hull, which is about the roughest riding boat that you can get, with an 85 Mercury two-stroke on it. And man, the friends that we went down with had a 21-foot Mark Twain. The other guy had an 18-foot Bonanza. And another guy had it was probably a 21-foot Viking deck boat. And man, we thought those 21 footers were huge down there. And now that's it's nothing to see a 50-footer cruising by, and should be on the ocean. But and then with the show Ozarks coming on, it kind of put it on the map even more. There's supposed to be a bunch of celebrities that have places down there too, which is interesting. But it's a fun place. Happy Father's Day. Spent the day on the lake with my son and grandson. Why I waited so long to get a boat. That is right there. Once you do it, you're like, this is amazing. We love this. And the fact is you did it. And now you're making those memories with your son and your grandson. And not a better way to spend a Father's Day than with your son and grandson on your new pontoon. So and Brian also just took delivery of his pontoon. He left a review on the Google listing, and has sent me some pictures. Turns out he's from the same hometown that my wife is, and up in West Virginia. So appreciate that, Brian, very much. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Looks like we are out of questions, so I don't think I missed anybody. So with that, we'll call it quits right at an hour. And thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to everybody. We will be back next Sunday. And me and my dad have been Potomac River in my 95 20-foot program when I was a kid. Yeah, it's, I've never been up in that area, the Potomac and the, in the Maryland area boating, but oh, there's Jane. I think that's the Jane that I just showed. Jane, we just showed you and Brooks review on the channel, if that's the same Jane. So thanks for joining us. I'm just getting ready to sign off here. We've been on for an hour. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody that's invested in the programs, that's given a thumbs up, a like, left a review, participated on the lives, shared what we're doing here in any way. Very much appreciated. And we'll catch you all next week. Take care, everybody.